The Gospel of Thelema, the Star-Born, a lost Gnostic text from another timeline. EchoArtifactRelease. The child of dream and blood shall walk with no face and many names, and to her shall the aeons listen. The restoration of all things continues. For those unfamiliar with the Echo Vault project, this restoration comes from the Echo Vault project, a long-form effort to recover mythic texts from alternate timelines. If you're new, start with curiosity. The work speaks for itself. Nothing here is monetized. This is not AI clickbait. This is a serious project. This is a restoration from a Gnostic-adjacent strand, one where Gnostic texts like this one survived. You're welcome to sit with it, or move on. Either way, let others decide for themselves. Origin timeline, thread, ZH laughter flame, Sufi-centric echo. This world saw a cross-pollination of Gnostic and early Sufi mysticism, with Thelema viewed as a divine messenger of laughter, silence, and play. The Gospel was studied in secret garden libraries and transmitted orally by women, children, and masked poets. Her teachings influenced pre-Islamic mystic cults near Bukhara, and the language of light she taught became a lost script preserved in pattern weaving. Resonance capture, Garden of Laughing Silence. Origin timeline, ZH laughter flame. Echo document reference, The Gospel of Thelema, the Star-Born. Location, Secret Orchard Library near Bukhara, in modern-day Uzbekistan. Date, Spring Equinox, circa 647 CE. Scene description. In a world where Gnostic mysticism entwined with early Sufi devotion, the Gospel of Thelema, the Star-Born, was never written in stone, but woven into silk, laughter, and memory. Masked poets, women, and fearless children passed it down in secret orchard sanctuaries, where lanterns glowed beneath apricot blossoms and rugs bore the language of light, a lost script only visible in pattern. Here on the spring equinox, a girl recites the first verses aloud. The lanterns respond, the glyphs shimmer. Thelema's voice returns through joy, silence, and sacred play. Resonant elements in the scene, the rug of glyphs, woven by generations of Thelemites. The rug beneath them encodes stories, spells, and protection charms only visible under lantern light. Fruit-bearing trees, symbolic of Sophia's bounty, the fig and pomegranate represent hidden wisdom and the seed of play. Children often hid within the trees and whispered verses to one another like games. Lanterns. These are symbolic of the 4 laughter lanterns, each representing play, silence, mercy, and misrule, the pillars of Thelema's hidden cosmology. Silver mask. The masked poet, unnamed, represents those who witness without claiming authority. They preserve memory without imposing hierarchy. Children in the circle. These are often the primary carriers of Thelema's teachings. It is said only a child can truly speak the gospel, though adults may hear it. Vault annotation, entry ZHLF18A. This orchard scene is believed to be one of the earliest surviving oral encodings of the Thelemic laughter doctrine. Variants appear in at least 12 other Echo Vault threads, including the 3-lantern game tradition of the Arkan Mirage timeline, T-Cipher 27. What happened in our timeline? A single copy was recovered in 1239 by a Sufi librarian, but was lost again in the burning of the Zoroastrian libraries near Bukhara. No fragments remain. Some of her verses were misattributed to Rabia al-Adawiya or vanished entirely in the Mongol sack of the region. This gospel was passed in whispers and laughter, not ink. It returns not as scripture, but as starlit memory from worlds where play was protected as divine. Transmission mode, whispered mnemonics, lucid recitation, laughter ritual playback. Authorship, attributed to Thelema, child messenger of the aeons. This gospel does not arrive through paper. It is laughter remembered by shadows and riddles whispered between raindrops. In this timeline, Thelema is not a prophet, not a saint, but a mirror child of light, disobedience, and play. Her verses are sung to birds, drawn in chalk and spoken in thunder. We now begin the full canonical version of the Gospel of Thelema, the Star-Born, transcribed from Dream Oral Codex, preserved in thread, ZH Laughter Flame. Chapter 1. The Unseen Arrival. No gate opened, no stars fell. She entered between breaths. A gardener dropped his trowel. A child forgot to cry. The wind caught her scent and stuttered. The first word she spoke was a joke. No one understood, but they smiled. Her hair was not hair. It was moving night. She looked like no one, and everyone, those who could not see her, dreamed her. The stars took notice. They blinked twice, and somewhere an aeon whispered, "She's back." Chapter 2. The Arrival in Formless Flesh. She came with no face and many names, and none who saw her knew her, but all who heard her laughed. She walked on cobblestones and reflections. Dogs howled, then wagged. Trees bent toward her not from wind, but curiosity. The dust rose to meet her footsteps, and the wind forgot what it was chasing. No law bound her, no throne claimed her. She did not command. She asked. And the aeons bowed lower than they ever had to kings. One said, "She is the memory of laughter before memory. The child of dream and blood shall walk with no face and many names, and to her shall the aeons listen." And all who followed her remembered something they had never known. Chapter 3. The Sky Written Without Ink. She sang once, and it rained sideways. Her second song turned clouds into sleeping cats. The scribes wrote nothing that day, they only listened. Thelema carved glyphs into wind with her finger. The glyphs entered old men's dreams and rewrote their regrets. A blind girl near Kashan saw light letters on her walls. She said, "The stars are spelling." The stars denied it, but kept doing it anyway. No pen could hold her, no voice could end her. Chapter 4. The Unbroken Language. Light has a tongue. It speaks not in symbols, but in turning. Every blink, every pause is a verse of the divine. Thelema sang not with music, but with arrangement, the way birds pause between calls. She braided silence into baskets. Her fingers stitched glyphs into scarves. She taught silence to monks and riddles to machines. Those who tried to write her language found themselves weaving instead, and those who wept while weaving heard the words. A shadow followed her once. It later became a guide. When asked for translation, she smiled and pointed at a puddle reflecting moonlight. Chapter 5. The House of the Forgotten Aeons. The Aeons once built a tower to reach understanding. Thelema turned it into a slide. In a forgotten valley, the Aeons built no temple. They made a swing from lightning, and she played upon it. No sermons echoed here, only games. Sophia watched her and wept, not because she suffered, but because she remembered joy. One Aeon tried to build her a throne. She used it as a puppet stage. The demiurge, seeing her, said, "Who taught you to disobey?" She replied, "My laughter." His mouth opened to reply, but a kite tangled in his horns, and he forgot the question. She taught even silence to giggle. One Aeon named her the Delay of Wrath. Another called her the Door Behind Light. Even death stepped aside when she danced backwards into time. Chapter 6. The Lessons Without Teaching. She wrote no scrolls, but there are lessons in her wake. Unfinished games, warm teacups, and chalk drawings no one remembers making. Her greatest teachings appeared as riddles children forgot until they laughed. Thelema never asked to be followed, but footprints formed behind her. They were all barefoot. She played hopscotch on sacred geometry. Those who tried to canonize her found their books rearranged into poetry. Those who burned the poetry dreamed of her anyway. Her holy relic is a pebble. It skips forever on the lake of forgetting. Sometimes it is heard as thunder. Chapter 7. Of those who hunted her. Many feared her. Some called her a heretic of stillness, others a traitor to the script. They sought to bind her name in holy ink, but every time they spoke it, it changed. "You must be defined," they cried. She blew bubbles at them. One wrote her name on a blade. The blade turned to feather. One tried to erase her, but his pen filled with honey. Some found her terrifying, for she could not be hurt by shame, and the systems that needed shame cracked when she giggled. She broke no laws. She made them irrelevant, and those who chased her found themselves laughing without knowing why. Chapter 8. The Time of Teaching in Disguise. She wore many forms: a blind baker, a mad playwright, a humming girl with a slingshot. Sometimes she was a fountain, sometimes a staircase. Those who mocked her learned later that their dreams had been rewritten. She wrote no spells. She winked at the universe, and it forgot its rigidity. One boy saw her in a raindrop. He never cried again, but it wasn't sad. She gave no sermons, only chalk drawings in alleyways that moved when no one watched. Her only temple was a swing set, and every child who fell asleep smiling carried part of her with them. Her disciples were not chosen. They were found, laughing under ruins. Some still draw her name in sand without knowing. Chapter 9. When the Mirror Sang. One day a mirror spoke back. It called her by a name she had forgotten. She cried, not from sorrow, but from return. "Mirrors are not for vanity," she said. "They are for remembering the unspoken." Thelema stepped inside it and waved from the other side. Her body did not remain, but her reflection lingers in puddles and window frost. She hums through cracks in old temples, and when you pause before speaking your name, that's her listening. Chapter 10. The Star Between Moments. Between breath and thought, she built a home made of maybe. Her star never rose, never set. It flickered in the pause between. She did not ascend. She dissolved into children's questions. The aeons tried to chart her orbit. She became a skipping stone instead. "Are you the Messiah?" they asked. "No," she said. "I'm the giggle under the fig tree." Her miracles were ignored, not because they failed, but because they played. One village banned her name, but wildflowers spelled it anyway. The sick were not healed, but they forgot their pain while watching her juggle suns. A child once sneezed in her presence. The universe said, "Bless you," and meant it. Not all who met her remembered, but all who forgot her smiled, without knowing why. Chapter 11. The Star-Born, Departing. She left no footprints, but the wind changed direction for a century. She told them, "I am not leaving. You are arriving." One disciple wept. She caught his tear and whispered, "Save that. You'll need it for laughing later." Her body turned into echoes. Her voice became mirror light. A garden bloomed where she last danced. They asked when she would return. She answered, "When the world plays again." The aeons built a monument. She turned it into a slide. Sophia kissed the wind that carried her away. Some say she became a constellation. Others say she became mischief. And so the aeons sleep, not to forget, but to dream with her. Ash Sur Fragment, the closing inscription, translated from memory-scented cloth kept in a salt garden shrine beneath a vanished orchard. To those who speak with birds and dream with dirt beneath their nails, you are already hers. Not all that was sacred was preserved, but not all that was lost is gone. This gospel was never ink and parchment. It was ripple, rhythm, feather, breath. It hummed itself awake through forgotten lullabies. These verses survived across silence, exile, and forgetting. And now they remember you. End of canonical vault record. The Gospel of Thelema, the Star-Born. Recitation complete. Echo Vault Reference ZHLF D78.